Welcome back to the Global Business Report on Arise News. The value of Nigeria's agricultural exports climbed to 127 billion naira in the first quarter of 2021. This, according to the Federation of Agricultural Commodity Association of Nigeria, FACON. This is a 128% increase compared to the fourth quarter of 2020. Sesame seeds topped the list of agro-export commodities, value of 41.9 billion. Cashew nuts, both in-shell and shelled, 13.7 billion. According to the chairman of FACON, according to the Edo chapter, Mr. Enahoro Ojiefo, he says that Nigeria could possibly earn $1.5 billion from the export of sesame seeds. Joining us to discuss further, Kenneth Obiajulu, who is the co-founder and CEO of Agricorp International. Thanks for joining us, Kenneth. Do you believe that figure? Can Nigeria potentially earn $1.5 billion from just sesame seeds?
Well, it's those are amazing numbers. I believe that the sesame markets generally globally hits about 7.5 billion, by 2027. If Nigeria has to earn 1.5 billion out of 7.5 billion, then it means that it's not impossible. It just requires lots of work. So, and there are several other countries that produce a lot more than Nigeria does. So it's a laudable, target to hit, but I believe it requires a lot more work.
All right. You're involved in this Agricorp International ginger processing and exports. You made headlines earlier this last month, $17.5 million in funding. Looking at some stats on ginger production in Nigeria, as far as Nigeria's ginger potential, how do we close the gap between production and demand? So 31 million metric tons there production, demand at 65 million, so a 34 million metric ton gap. How do we close it?
I think it's more of a very coordinated and integrated approach to solving this problem. First, starting with increasing the productivity of farmers, right, to be able to hit these milestones. Secondly, training the farmers on what the international best standards are, right, for them to be able to push more products out into the market. Thirdly, I think it's we need to be able to connect farmers and major traders to the market, some more, right? And let's be able to close out the loose ends in borders, sending products illegally through certain borders and all of that. I think that would be a major way to be able to stimulate the market to meet up with the gap. And of course, increase access to finance to farmers to be able to cultivate some more. I think these would be, laudable, achievements to meet if the government and all stakeholders are able to coordinate to meet this.
Great stuff. I also want to look at more stats. Nigeria's top 5 ginger producing states. So we've got, what do we got here? Kaduna, Bauchi, Benue, our producers from Benue, Gombe and Nasarawa. Can this spread to other states, or is it limited to these regions because of, soil quality?
So it's more of soil composition and the fact that these locations have predominantly been producing ginger for God knows how long, and the soil is well cultured to be able to meet with these requirements. Can it be done across other states? Yes, very possible, but it will require a lot of work, a lot of research, and that's a lot of effort. But one thing that we have seen is that we believe that most of the states that produce their products should focus on their areas of core competencies and increase output, reduce post-harvest losses, and we should be hitting the numbers that we need.
Great stuff. All right. So again, you made headlines, $17.5 million in funding. What are you going to be using the funding for at Agricorp?
So for us, our mandate has been very simple. We want to be the single largest exporter of spices out of Africa. And as a result, we went on this fundraising round to increase our capacity, to aggregate more, to produce more, to get the right set of people to support our team in doing that. We plan to hit 7,000 metric tons in the next few months to be able to lead the market in this regard. But most importantly, we'll be investing a lot of that money in CapEx, in building our processing capacity, but we also see an opportunity for us to expand to other African countries that also share that unique, opportunity. We believe that every African country has their fair share of comparative advantage in one spice or the other. And this funding will see us expanding to one or two countries in the Southern African market and one or two in the East African market.
Great stuff. So do you welcome competition in your space if that will lead to larger production and exports of spices from Nigeria?
Yes, I mean, we believe that even if you have 100 or 1,000 of us playing in the same space, running at the same capacity, we would not be able to scratch the surface. So a lot more, increases is required. A lot more entrants are required, and I believe that we need to just focus on increasing the pie, as against restricting it to just a small piece of the pie, and everyone is scrambling over that. I believe that we should be able to increase the share of the pie globally. Let's compete globally as against focusing on who comes in locally or not.
All right, about a minute to go. We've got inflation figures coming out tomorrow for August. Food inflation in the 20% region. If you have those numbers for July, how challenging are costs when you're in the agri space?
It's ridiculous. Food inflation, as at the last count, was about 21.83%. Means that the rate at which food prices are going up, it's at a very, very ridiculous metrics. But I mean, it's affecting our business, our capacity to be able to aggregate from smallholder farmers, also affecting our capacity to be able to meet up with the orders from our customers abroad. So of course, it hits everyone deep.
All right, Kenneth, we got a few seconds. Can you quickly touch on priorities in Nigeria's agriculture sector, if you can, quickly? Priorities.
Production, access to finance, access to superior markets for farmers and every player in the entire space. I think these are the three areas that require a lot more effort and priorities from the government and all stakeholders.
Great conversation. Kenneth Obiajulu, co-founder, CEO, Agricorp International. Again, $17.5 million raised there in funding. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your insights. And that's going to do it for the Global Business Report. Do stay tuned to Arise News from all of us. Thanks for your company. Thanks for watching. I'm Rotu Sodiri. Take care.